ESPN.
What's up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take NBA DFS podcast. I'm your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I'm joined once again by two of Wise Take's finest NBA DFS analysts. First up, we got Johnny the Greek. You can find him on Twitter at GDaddy80. Johnny, my man, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. It's the, I think, first YouTube night show that I've done with Paulie. Normally it's me and Cashin, or Paulie and Cashin, so it's good to mix it up a little bit. Unfortunately, Cashin had an obligation he had to fulfill, so see how this one goes.
Yeah, this is usually a Wise stream only kind of deal. This is usually
got
to pay for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the Wise stream earlier. This will most likely be the Wise stream tomorrow as well. But welcome, yeah, definitely. It's funny you pointed that out. I didn't even realize that.
You can have some premium content right now for the YouTube show.
So a little podcast narrative there. There you go.
Yeah. It's 4-game slate, so we got time, and we're on Facebook Live now, so
nice.
Give them a little taste of the premium content.
You gotta step it up. You gotta step it up for Facebook. That's what I hear. That's what the word around town is. That's what
Is that big time then?
yeah, it's the big time. Also joined once again by Paulie D, the Wise Take True OG. You can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 Ds. Paulie, my man. It sounds like you did cash in the 1500, so congrats, my man, doing your thing. That's now the second time, but that's $2 you've turned into. How much did you win tonight, Paulie?
$3,000.
$3,000. So $2 total over this one and the last one that you did just a couple weeks ago, and you've turned $2 into $6,000.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome. I love that tournament. Finished 58th, 20 points out of exciting cashes, 1 or 2 pivots. But happy to cash. I'm 3 for 3 in that tournament, and it's feels like a big win to me, so I'll take it.
Yeah. Patio Joe's in the YouTube chat right now. He says, Patio Joe had a good night in NBA thanks to Paulie D's cheat sheets. Patio Joe, he was on the show last night too, so he got the down low. Shout out to Patio Joe. So anyway, Johnny, how did your night go tonight? How'd you do?
Yeah, so it went all right. Some of the value that we talked about didn't hit. It was kind of a weird night, and some of the studs didn't go great, but it did okay. It's a profitable night, nothing to brag about, for the amount of play I play. But got a bunch of more golf tickets, and I reserved all those golf tickets that I won today and that I've won in the last couple of weeks, and I got about 50 entries into today's golf slate, I should say. So I got after we get done with this show, I'm going to make a few lineups and make actually all those lineups to enter. So fun times. Me and Paulie gave me a decent strategy to play with this golf, and because I'm not a golf dude, I'm going to use 100% of Cashin, who's the man over here. I love that guy, and I'm going to give we're going to do some lineups with that, and it's going to be all Cashin's picks. So we'll see how that goes. He's been spot on, so hopefully we'll have a good day with that.
Yeah. Definitely, man. You're with the right squad for that. Thanks to Mr. Cash and DFS. I'm seeing in the chat. It's been a while since Cash hasn't been on an NBA show. That man's a workaholic. Obviously, if it was his choice, he would have been here. He had some stuff he had to take care of. But immediately, gonna be a mellow night. Somebody in the chat comes in, they notice Cash ain't here. It's gonna be a mellow night.
Well, I think a lot of people haven't seen the Wise stream, so sometimes it gets pretty hilarious. So you don't know. I mean, this slate's kind of blah, so it might get interesting with us tonight.
For the people that listen to us on only the podcast, if you don't listen to the Wise stream, if you think things get raunchy on this show, if you think the P's and the D's, you think the occasional F-bombs that slip out when Cash tries not to are bad, you need to see the Wise stream. You need to check out what goes down behind the closed doors.
Yeah, there's no PG-13, NC, none of that. It's cool. It's so relieving when you don't have to worry about that when you're on the Wise. You're like, oh, I can curse.
Yeah. Cash shouldn't look so free. On this podcast, he's like a caged animal. When he gets mad, he's got to curse and he can't. He just looks like a frustrated caged animal. He's like, And then On the wide stream, no, he just lets it go. He never looks so free. It's just like, it just looks so free when he speaks. It's like.
And I still think it would be just a great thing, like have like a super VIP membership, and they can listen to like our pre-show like conversation that we all have, because those are really good. Or the after show, those could get pretty good too.
Yeah, those I don't think we can put on the air at all.
No, but we could charge like a fee, and let a couple lucky members do that for a small fee per night,
Now it sounds like some kind of prostitution thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
now I feel
funny.
dirty about it. Anyway, guys, we're actually, Paulie, obviously you did well in the 1500. Overall, decent night. Anything surprised you? Anything that catch you off guard by the slate?
Not really. That Suns massive blowout and taking out the Stars in like the 2 minutes into the third quarter kind of affected the slate a little bit. But overall, we were kind of on it. We gave you a lot of the right plays to be on. Lou Williams let me down a little. I thought he was going to go ham, and the Andre Drummond angry he didn't make the All-Star game narrative, which Drummond went ham, 86 points. But Lou was off tonight. The whole team looked off. They got beat by Boston, who was on a back-to-back in 3 and 4, and Boston was sloppy too. They had tons of turnovers. But he didn't have it. He was like, 5 of 20-ish shooting. He was trying to do it, but he just did not have it today.
What sucks on FanDuel is it seems like every time you get an opportunity to play to punt center, like a solid punt center punt, there's just one center stud who just goes out there and just craps on everybody. Like Boogie the other night obviously did it to Monroe. And then tonight Drummond did it to Monroe. Monroe Jaws on FanDuel 4-2 goes 10x basically. And Drummond goes for 86.
So Drummond was like 8.5x and Jaws was like 9.5x, but when you consider the raw points of it, I'd take Drummond's over Jaws any day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you get CK's pick over there with Joe Val today.
Joe Val.
Joe Val was a monster.
Yeah, he was a monster. But
doing him dirty.
I was on the Drummond before show. When we were on the White stream today. And I got I respect both of you guys' opinion a lot, and you guys kind of talked me off that train a little bit. I wish I would have stayed on it, but man, he is a very vengeful person. I learned very vengeful.
Yeah, and overtime had something to do with it. Like before overtime, he was only 5x, and then he got 4 blocks in overtime.
Oh, geez, yeah. So that's a lot, but no, it is what it is. It wasn't a good play, on paper. So again, sometimes we have to make those decisions, and I agreed with you guys. It wasn't a great play on paper. I just thought he was a little too soft, so I didn't think he was maybe the most vengeful. I thought Lou Williams was the harder of the two, so I thought he was more vengeful, but obviously not. So that's what it is.
Nice. Let's move on to this next slate here. 4-game slate. We got to keep the momentum going. Yesterday, really tonight's slate had everybody on edge, big contests all around. We knew Paulie's ticket, just in general, big slate.
It was news left and right today.
Oh my gosh, man, it was just nonstop. It was just
most of the news came out so early today. We had plenty of time to react.
It was consistent. It was consistently just boom, 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 it's all day, every hour. Just check it as clockwork.
The Celtics news, no one saw that coming. Horford, he was 10% owned in my contest. It just continued to come. It was pretty cool.
Real weird, but the only thing I looking at this slate with the way it's spread out, I don't think that we're gonna get that kind of news tonight. I think if we're gonna for tonight's stuff for this slate, I think I'm more afraid that some of these news that we're waiting to hear, you're not going to hear till way after lock. So it could definitely have a huge impact on the slate.
Yes, definitely. I see people in the chat talking about giving Paulie a quick shout out for Ben Simmons. Definitely.
Yeah. Ben Simmons. I was completely wrong. I took my L there. Completely wrong on him. But I had that Sark call. Sark was big today. So I'll take my L there, but I'll take my W with the Sark call.
All right, let's move on to this next slate, guys. A 4-game slate, but we got to keep everything. We got to keep it rolling because it's what we do. First look for us, as always, 4 games, so I know we're going to go game by game. That much about this slate I do know. And I know on the podcast we're going game by game. Sacramento looks like Sacramento at Miami, Washington at OKC, New York at Denver, Minnesota at Golden State. We do have some injury news, pretty evenly spread out, I think, throughout these 4 games that we are waiting for. Yeah, that's basically it, guys. So let's go ahead. Let's jump right into this thing. First up, we got Sacramento at Miami. Johnny pointed out to us before the show that it seems like a lot of these Miami guys are getting healthier. Some of these guys like Dragic, probable, etc. Johnny, you take it from here, man. Give me your first take. Sacramento at Miami. What you got?
Yeah, so first we have a 200 over-under, and we have Miami. It's a 10.5-point favorite in Miami. So, again, that's a big spread with this game. Miami's getting very, very healthy. It looks like TJ is going to play tomorrow, as well as Dragic. They're both probable, so that will make them, back to almost 100%. So that means like guys like Jones Jr. is going to go back to probably the G League. And then you look at the Sacramento side where you have De'Aaron Fox. Like he's definitely questionable. He had a negative report today on his injury. So I don't know if he's going to play. Originally, he looked like he was going to play, and now it's seemed questionable. So you got those news, and then you got like George Hill, who's cheap, and he's the only viable actual point guard that can play if Fox doesn't play. So he might get a lot of run, but you got a lot of risk with him, with Cleveland looking into trading for him. So there's all kinds of stuff going on here. So definitely this game is going to be the most difficult one on the slate, and it's probably going to be the slate breaker, to be honest with you. If you hit on the right plays in this game, you're probably going to make money. So for me, looking at this, I think on the Miami side, the 2 best spots, number 1 is going to be Whiteside. I think he's in a phenomenal spot here. He's really expensive, though, 8,400. DraftKings priced him up for this matchup, but this is the best matchup for him in Sacramento. So I definitely like that, again, but the price is a little bit expensive. And then Dragic, if it has no minute restriction, I think he's a good play. He's a little bit expensive. He's 7,100, but against Sacramento, he can definitely go through a weakened defense and a soft team who has some injuries there as well. We don't know yet who they're going to rest on Sacramento on the bigs. So really for me, if Fox is in, he has no restriction, I will play him. I won't play George Hill tomorrow, even though he's cheap. I'm just worried, he might get popped, like he might get traded. So I'm off of that. But I think the steadiest play here, and probably something that I'm going to lock in all my lineups is going to be a Scal Labissiere tomorrow. He's cheap on DraftKings. He's too cheap. He's 5,000. He's been playing really well. I don't care if he starts or comes off the bench. Probably prefer him coming off the bench. He's still getting 28 plus minutes. He's been getting close to 30 DraftKings points almost every game recently. So I really like that. And then maybe Buddy Hield at 5,000 too. He might be in play for me against Miami. Wings have a decent advantage against Miami. So those are probably the 2 plays that I would look at that I think are somewhat secure plays. You can maybe talk me into a little bit of Bogdanovich, but I don't want to play a lot of plays from this game again with the spread being so high. Definitely a huge blowout risk.
Yep, I can get behind that. It's probably a game most people are going to be fading. You can get crazy and stack it up and hope it's close, and the other games kind of blow out. But first off, it depends who's playing, right? Like, it looks like Miami's going to be relatively healthy, and then we got to play which veterans are going to be sitting for Sacramento. George Hill and Zebo sat out last game, so I think they will play this game, which kind of makes things a little murky. And then George Hill is on the verge of being traded. Cleveland is probably the primary destination. Cleveland is looking to make a drastic move, so I wouldn't be shocked if that went down over this weekend. If you have him in your roster and the trade goes down, he will come out of the game immediately. So I don't see enough upside in playing him at all, so I just wouldn't play him, even if De'Aaron Fox is out. If De'Aaron Fox is out and Hill's playing, like, I'll look to a guy like either Buddy Hield, or if Garrett Temple plays, he took the 2 games off, then he went off last game, but if he plays, he'll probably pick up most of the point guard along with George Hill. But point guards don't do well against Miami. It's not very attractive. But Garrett Hill at 4,900, Garrett Temple, I mean, he even got a price bump to 4,900. With De'Aaron Fox out, I think that is in play. One of him or Buddy Hield you can consider if Fox is out. If Fox is in, not really interested in any of those guys. I don't think there's anything on the Sacramento side that I'd be interested in. Scal is 5'6" on FanDuel, and I think Zebo's going to play, so I don't think I'll go there. Miami side, I can agree with Whiteside, but he's 9-3 now. This should be an easy win for Miami, so I don't know if he'll get there. Like, if Whiteside gets there, it's a closer game. You probably want to bring it back with some of the Sacramento guys. It's just, I don't know who you'd go to. I probably wouldn't go to Dragic or TJ in their first game back. They'll probably have quick pulls if the game gets out of hand. Maybe you can look at like Wayne Ellington at 4,900 in this spot. For the most part, this game's going to be a pass. If there's other guys that are ruled out, then like a Justice Winslow at 3,600, I'm fine with that. He's probably not going to kill you. You can think about Bam Adebayo on FanDuel at 4,200 if you think that they're going to blow them out and he gets a little additional run. But for the most part, I think this game's going to be a pass for me. Unless there's enough injury or inactive news that makes a play worth it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like the value guys looking at FanDuel. No, Johnny's obviously covering. He's looking at DraftKings while Paulie looks at FanDuel. So I took a peek at FanDuel, just looking at this game, and the problem with Miami is with them healthy, the guys that are normally your value guys are now priced up. Like Ellington's got a little bit of a price increase, and these guys that did well with those guys out. And then the studs, like Whiteside, for instance, like you said, Paulie, is 9-3 on FanDuel. So it's just like, you know what I mean? It just kind of really takes the desire to take anybody out. Normally you look at the situation and say, okay, well, at least I'll take the cheap guys because they don't need as much time to pay off the value. But like the cheap guys are now priced up. They're not cheap anymore. So it's really, really hard to like something from this game. And when Miami's healthy, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. So it's like just in general, it is tough. But like you guys both said, this is nobody's going to want to pick from this game. This is 4 games not allowed to pick from, but this is one that people are just not going to want to play guys.
There's a couple good options at center. Like I just don't see needing to go to Whiteside, even from like the raw points perspective. I doubt he's the highest scorer here. So I don't have much interest in anyone.
Yeah, I'm with it, guys. Let's move it on to the next game. Johnny, kicking it back to you to start us off. 8 p.m. Eastern start. Washington and Oklahoma City. We've got a 213.5 total here. Oklahoma City favored by 5.5. Washington's look terrible. Tell me your thoughts here on this game.
Yeah, so Washington, man, they are rough. Like you just don't know what's going to go on. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team here. There's things you can look at here. They're on the road, which is not great. Going over at OKC. Russell Westbrook, and OKC is one of the best team defenders. So this isn't a great matchup in general for Washington, but there's some decent individual matchups here that you can exploit here. So we'll start here. I'll start on the Washington side. So. I'm not a John Wall guy, like I never have been. But on DraftKings, he's too cheap. He's only 8,500. He got a huge price decrease. And I know he's been hit or miss lately, but $8,500 on this 4-game slate where you're looking for some value, and as of right now, I don't see a lot. He's definitely in play tomorrow, especially with playing against Russell Westbrook. Probably the defensive henchpin here, probably the worst defender based on his volume of what he's doing because he's so weird on offense. I like that matchup individually. And again, it's a good price, 8,500. Looking at the rest of this, we have Brad Beal who's priced at 72. but I think that Paul George is going to definitely be guarding him or Roberson. So I don't think I'd play that, but his price is definitely down to 7,200, so he's cheap. Looking down, it looks like Otto Porter has a Q tag. Let me open that up and see what it says. It's just his hip. He has a hip issue, and it doesn't go into it. He was a full participant in practice today, so he's gonna play. 5,900. I like the role that they've changed him into. He's like playing more with the second unit. He's like one of the main scorers. So they kind of flipped him a little bit from what Beal's role was earlier. So Porter's like the main scorer on that second unit when he's there. So I think he's in play at 5,900. I think on that side, really, that's going to be it for me. There's just I can't play Carmelo Anthony at 6,100 tomorrow. And then on the OKC side, I can't play Carmelo Anthony 6,100. It's too expensive for me. I really like Westbrook. He didn't have a great game his last game out. It was an okay game. He's expensive at 11,400. John Wall is not a great defender, so this is definitely a great matchup for him. He's probably going to be the highest owned player on the slate because he's the biggest stud. I mean, we have some other studs that we could talk about over there in Golden State, the Golden State Minnesota game, but I think he's going to be the highest owned guy off of first look right now based on matchup. And then, Paul George is okay at 7,600. Whoever's guarding him, he's got a good matchup. I'm not really worried about the defense over there. The wing defense is not the strongest over there, so I'm okay with that. And I think Steven Adams has a decent matchup here at 6,600. I think he's a great correlation play with Westbrook. So if you're going to play Westbrook, I'd probably on this slate put Adams in there as well. And then that's really it for me. I don't really like these other pieces like the Roberson or any of the kind of thing. They're not really scorers. So that would be it for me on this in this game.
Okay. Paulie D, from a FanDuel perspective, what do you got?
From a FanDuel perspective, this game's kind of attractive, I guess. It's probably got the best chance of staying close, I would say, of the four games on the slate. I like the Oklahoma City side, the most.
I like how you talk about the game like it's like you just got to the bar and you only had one beer and then you spotted a chick and you're like, well, give me a couple more and let me see how I feel about it. I don't make a judgment just yet. Maybe there's a prospect.
No, he saw the hottest girl at the bar. He's like, I'm going for her. And then he sat back and had about 8 more drinks. He's like, well, maybe it is her, I don't know.
I don't know where you're going with that shit.
I don't know, dude. It sounded better in my head than I said. I was like, wow. I'll take it. I'll just take my L. I just decided to shut up and just take my L there. Let it go.
And I'm going to hope that it went better in your head.
It did. And then I just took my L there. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Anyway, Paulie, what are your thoughts?
Anyway.
I think I had drunk goggles on there, bro. I was too drunk at the bar and they missed it. So it's all good.
Oh, goody.
Never know what you're doing, Johnny.
Sometimes we put on that street, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah. We've all been there. So, what's Russ's price here? 11.9, came down a tad. Carmelo Anthony, I think that's the guy I'm going to be most interested in the on the Oklahoma City side. They're getting paced up. They're going to be getting points plussed up. Carmelo Markieff Morris D, you can pick on the Wizards with forwards. Melo's been, ordered to take more shots, take more threes. He's going to be fine with that. Westbrook seems to be playing a little bit more of a facilitator role, and they're doing well with it, so I don't think it's going to change. Paul George is probably also in play. Otto Porter, not really known very well for his defense. We saw it against Cleveland. It was Cleveland, and they scored 147 points, so everybody got there, but OKC was content really early on letting Paul George and Melo and Steve Adams, and then Westbrook got there on 20 assists in his regular scoring, but I'm definitely interested in that side. Paul George, Melo, and then Steve Adams probably my favorite. If I can fit Russ, he's fine too. On a point per dollar sense, if there's not enough value on this slate, I probably won't end up going there. I don't think he's a guy that pays off his price tag, but I think, in cash, he's totally fine. On the Washington side, it's kind of tricky. CK, what is it? Beal at home and Wall on the road, or the other way?
Other way around.
Okay, so we played Wall at home and Beal on the road.
That's what it's supposed to be, but I've broken that rule recently, and John Wall has made me pay.
Looking at it, John Wall's never done good against OKC. Like, doesn't have any games in the 50s. Beal really hasn't done all that much better. He's probably going to draw Roberson D. That doesn't excite me. Markieff Morris might be like the first guy on Washington that I'm interested in. That is scary. I don't know. I don't know if it's like the Washington side is too attractive. Markieff Morris is cheap, and he's done well, like in every time he's faced OKC, so I can do that against Melo D. And then maybe I'll grab like a value guy, maybe like an Oubre or a Gortat, but I don't really like too much on the Washington side. It's more OKC side with PG-13, Steven Adams, and Carmelo's probably my favorite.
Okay. Definitely anticipate Westbrook to be extremely popular. It's tough to target teams against OKC sometimes, especially with that slower pace that they've been running this year. Sometimes it can be tough to pinpoint. Paul George, obviously a great defender, but I do think that one scenario this can go is if Washington, their best shot here is probably going to be hitting their threes. Whether it comes from Markieff Morris, Otto Porter, Brad Beal, like they're going to have to shoot well, I think, with Steven Adams down low to protect the rim. And then Paul George defending the wing. Like, I just don't see, John Wall's, it's funny because, like, he's the guy in the best matchup on paper against Russ. You figure he should be able to drive past him. It's just what they do to each other. The same thing with Russ on John Wall on the other side. But then John Wall is just so terrible. Like, his shot is just so bad on the road. It's just, he's not the greatest shooter to begin with. On the road, It's just that much worse. But, Washington's tricky.
You can make a case for Wall, though. Like, if this game stays close, he's probably going to do it, right? Like,
yeah. When you're looking around at the matchups, you would think it's got to be him with Roberson back on Beal, and then Paul George on Porter. Like, okay, Markieff Morris, but really is Markieff Morris Markieff Morris could play? Don't get me wrong, but that's because his price.
It's not keeping the game close. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I guess I can get behind Wall. Like, I'd rather have Wall at 9.5 than Westbrook at 12. So even if I was stacking this game up. But I don't really like that. I'm hoping we find better plays at the guard positions. I don't really want to do Wall at 9.5 on FanDuel.
I'm hoping too. And the way Washington's just they've been scary, man. They just don't look right as a team. Something's wrong. Like maybe they bring it together. They get up for these stars here, but I don't know. Something's off. I wouldn't know. I've been playing these mother suckers for quite a while, and they've been burning me. Let's move it on over to the third game. Johnny, swinging it back to you, my man. We got my New York Knicks. That's right, my New York Knicks. So be gentle. I'm just kidding. They're terrible. I know. Visiting Denver, Nikola Jokic and company. Jamal Murray, when he feels like it, I guess. Johnny, talk to me about this game. Looks like there's no spread. Maybe I guess we're waiting for news.
There's
Porzingis news, right?
Porzingis, Gary Harris. Yeah, that's what we're waiting on right now. So,
all right, take it away.
Yeah, so I just wanted to just touch real quick on I think on Wall is firm play at 8,500 on DraftKings, just price wise. I just want to throw that out there. He's a great play. FanDuel a little bit expensive, but from what I've seen, there's not a lot of great point guard options tomorrow. So he's definitely in play. But getting to this game is a little tricky. Porzingis is out. I don't know if this game's going to stay close, but they're saying he's questionable for tomorrow. You got Gary Harris that's questionable for tomorrow too. So I'm going to give you my analysis. Consensus that we don't think Porzingis is going to play. Well, we pre-show we talked about that. So I'll give you a scenario if he plays and if he doesn't play really quick. So first, New York. If Porzingis plays, he's in play. He's the only chance I think that New York has to keep this game close. So if he plays, he's the guy you want. If he doesn't play, you want to go with like Beasley and some Hardaway, Tim Hardaway tomorrow. Those are the guys you want. I'm not really worried about the small forward guard of against Hardaway. Like I think he can get his, and definitely Beasley as well. So those are the two guys that would be in play if there is no Porzingis. On the Denver side, this is the side I love. This is probably my favorite game stack if I was going to do a game stack. Jokic, favorite center play tomorrow on the board. I want to wait for the spread, though, before I lock in a lineup, but he looks like my favorite play. At center, 8,900. He's cheap. I like him a lot. Jamal Murray, I just don't know what Jamal Murray we're going to get. He's a little expensive at 6,700, but point guard is going to be a premium tomorrow because there is not a lot of great options at a great price. So I definitely like that. So I like those two plays a lot. I really like Jamal Murray. If Harris is out, and if Harris is out, you can definitely talk me into a little bit of Will Barton at 5,800. I think that would be an okay play. Also on the Knicks, I think that if Porzingis is out, that might get Cantor a little bit more minutes with Jokic, or maybe open up some Hernan Gomez, and maybe we can get some Hernan Gomez on Hernan Gomez crime tomorrow. But really, other than like the Jokic and Murray on Denver, and then if Harris is out, Barton would be in. And then on the New York side, if Porzingis is the guy, if no Porzingis, I'm looking at Hardaway and Beasley.
That mute button. Okay, fair enough. Paulie, what are your thoughts here from a FanDuel perspective on this New York Knicks game?
Johnny, if Porzingis plays, you think the game can stay close?
I think if Porzingis they can keep it within 15.
Within 15.
By the third quarter, yeah. I think so. Denver's a little sloppy, that's why.
Knicks not looking good lately. A couple guys rumored to be on the trade block, like Kyle O'Quinn. I don't like this road trip for them going into Denver. If they don't have Porzingis, we're going to have the usual suspects like we just had in the last slate for value. Beasley, what's he on FanDuel 5.9 against Denver? Wings against Denver. He's still going to be in play. Willie Hernan Gomez is. I'm assuming O'Quinn's probably not going to play either, but that would definitely affect that. Willie Hernan Gomez is 36, so if O'Quinn's out again, he's in play. Enes Kanter 6,200. I don't even mind that. Frank Nitti from the Knicks, I think, is going to be interesting tomorrow. Especially if we don't have the Porzingis and O'Quinn, and it's going to probably be another beatdown. Then I think you'll get some Frank Nitti run. I know Trey Burke is there too, and that kind of makes things a little ugly. But the Knicks drafted Nitti, they're not going to give up on him just yet. So if Porzingis is out, I could play Frank Nitti with GHG and Beasley. Tim Hardaway Jr. is 5'9". He'd be viable also. Again, assuming those guys are out on the Denver side, I'd probably be looking at Barton and Lyles coming off the bench. Those would probably be my two top targets. And if Porzingis plays and you think this game can be close, then you can game stack this up, but I don't think it will. Going into Denver, the Knicks, they just have a bad aura right now. They can't wait for this All-Star break to get there. So I'd probably play this game in a blowout build only right now.
All right. Any interest in Wilson Chandler? How do you think a guy like him feels? He was one of the guys, I believe, that the Knicks sent to Denver in the Carmelo trade, wasn't he?
Who?
Wilson Chandler. Didn't he play for the Knicks?
Yes. Wilson Chandler went to Denver in the Melo trade, yes. It was Chandler, Gallinari, and there was one other. I'll try and think of it.
Felton.
Raymond Felton. Yeah, it might have been
Raymond Ball.
Bowling ball.
Yeah, it's funny, and he's the only one that's years later still there. Oh man, he spent a lot of years over there, going from New York to Denver. At least he's in a state where, well, never mind. I'm not going to say that on this show. That's for the Y stream. That's a conversation for the Y stream. I'm with you guys. It's tough. It's tough to really trust the Knicks. Both of these teams last year, again, two of the fastest paced teams in the league. They just ran. This year, Denver's been kind of up and down with how they do it. It depends on who's starting in their lineup. If they seem to start Plumlee whenever, and if Plumlee gets run, it slows them down. And on the Knicks side, you got Jarrett Jack. I mean, you got a 75-year-old point guard. So, it is what it is. There's probably players you can find here. Also, you got to figure the Knicks are in the middle of those like West Coast road trips. And Paul, you're also a Knicks fan. The Knicks never do well on these West Coast road trips. They always play like crap. It was amazing to me that they were in that Golden State lane.
It was really amazing. Like it was a miracle.
Yeah, and it really was. It was more so Golden State just played terribly. Because I watched the game, and it was definitely more so that Golden State just played terribly. Nice.
A long night.
Yes. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I think there's some stuff that maybe can uncover at some point. Like it's tough to play the expensive guys. Even Jamal Murray. I want to play the guy, especially if Gary Harris is out. But it's going to be tough to pay the increased price if you're concerned about the Knicks staying in this. So I think this is a situation where you're going to really want to be selective with who you get from here. But things could change. We'll see. But definitely more interest in the game if Porzingis and everybody's healthy. Without those guys, we could be in trouble. Although I will say, Gary Harris being out, I do think that's a big bump for a guy like Tim Hardaway. People don't realize it, but Gary Harris is actually a decent defender.
Very good.
One of the reasons he gets as many minutes as he does, he's one of the few guys on the damn team that plays it. So if he gets ruled out, I do think there's a little bump there for a guy like Hardaway. If Kyle O'Quinn and Porzingis are both out, what's the word on Willie? What's the word? I mean, it's a shame. I think his brother's like hurt or something like that, so he's not going to.
I am for sure.
Johnny, are you a GHG guy, Willie Hernangomez? Guillermo?
I'm not necessarily a Willie Herman. I don't think anybody is, but I definitely think he would be a good play. He doesn't play enough to be to have that as my guy, but yeah, I think he's a good play. But again, like I'm with Paulie. Like I think like for me, the only way I'm really into this game is if Porzingis plays. Like I'm really afraid of the blowout. If not, so that's what it is. I think I hope we get the news early on this one. So I can make my decisions really, 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 really clear really early instead of having to wait. Until the game starts here and really lock players in. But I love this game right now as it sits. If I think that New York can keep it close, I really do. With Denver, I don't think Denver's that great of a team in general. They have the really good pieces, but they are definitely prone to lose. So I can see New York keeping it close if Porzingis plays.
Word up. All right, we got one more game to get through, and then we can go back do a couple top threes. Do our thing. Minnesota at Golden State. This is supposed to be a marquee game, but if Jimmy Butler don't play, it could get ugly here. I mean, if Jimmy Butler does play, it still could get ugly. Minnesota is playing on the back end of a back-to-back. Paulie, you mentioned something about this game, uncharacteristic of Tibbs. They were losing the game against Portland, and at the end of the game, Tibbs actually pulled his guys with like 3 minutes to go, and it's almost something he almost never does. So I thought that was interesting. What are your thoughts on that approach, Paulie? Does that make you think that it's more of like, okay, Butler's down, so there's no reason I got to take it easy on the rest of my guys because I can't afford one more injury? Or is it more like, okay, we got Golden State tomorrow, let's not, screw around?
I think we got Golden State tomorrow. I mean, so like, those situations become like so like what's the word? Like, so I'm sweating, right? And I got guys in the Celtics and Clippers game, and everyone else in the field has the guys in those Timberwolves game. They're like Wiggins and Cat, and there's like 6 minutes left, and it's a 16-point game. And you're like, oh, if this game can blow out, these guys get out, they won't get the last run. So I'm like, like fully entrenched in like all the scenarios, and I'm like, let me see if they play tomorrow. Oh, they play the Warriors, like a team that they want to like upstage, and it like really like happened, like it was funny because you were like on cue, Wiggins checks in at the 6 minute mark. I was like, yeah, but if this fades away, he'll be gone. And at like the 4 minute and 30 second mark, he pulled them, and it was like 16-point game at that point. I don't know. It's uncharacteristic of him to give up. And if Butler wasn't going to be there tomorrow, then like, do you think you're really going to beat them? Like not at full strength. I think they just rested Butler another day. I think he's going to play tomorrow. Like, They announced it early today. I think that was more like nah, you're not going to play this one. We'll play the next day. Take one more day. Like he was like a game time decision. I think we would have had to sweat it out to lock, but they declared that early. Didn't you say, Johnny, it was like a predetermined thing?
Yeah, it was predetermined on there. Like it said, I was reading the article on there that he was, highly doubtful to play today. But then they said on there that they see him coming back by the weekend, but they're not sure if he's going to play tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So like for me, like I don't think he plays. Like I think the thing is with this injury news, is as long as he's on the injury report, like they can pop him at the end. So I don't think we know the news until this game plays. So like Jimmy Butler for me is going to be a no unless I get news on it. Just because I don't think we're going to know before this game starts. I think if he is not going to play, they're going to it's going to be at the last minute before the game starts after lock for sure. And if he does play, we're not going to know until game lock anyway. So I think he's off the board for me.
So that's interesting in tournaments like Donkeys tomorrow. If that scenario comes to play, you can play Butler at crazy low ownership, and if he plays and that team stays close, he'll go ham. And like. I think that's how I'm going to approach this game is this whole slate. I'm going to play very small. I don't like this slate. I'm just going to wait till Friday. It's a little bit more. But I think I'm going to pretty much grab like whatever plays, 2 or 3 of them from the first 3 games, whoever the best guys I think I can find that'll go, 6X or better, and then just stack this game up with Butler and hope that the news doesn't come out. And if it does and I get burned, like whatever, I'm only going to invest like $40 into it. But if you're right, like you can win some, large field tournaments getting a guy like that at low ownership in that game, like going off with the rest of these like stinkers just doing not much at all.
Yeah, it really does a lot too, because it's not just whether you get Jimmy Butler, but it's also like that does a little something to a guy like Kevin Durant.
Everybody, affects everybody.
So it's got a big effect on that game in general. Johnny, I'm gonna kick it back to you, man. Go ahead and break down this game for us. Give us your thoughts analytically. From a DraftKings perspective.
So, the most interesting thing is we're talking about Butler. That's the key topic here. If Butler doesn't play, I don't think this game stays close. If Butler does play, the game stack here is going to win all the money on DraftKings. A lot of these plays are really underpriced. The only guys that seem to be priced up are going to be like Wiggins. I think he's it. Everybody else is pretty good priced here. So, Minnesota, literally, like for me, it's, if Jimmy Butler doesn't play, I'm just going to fade this game if I know about it. If you want to take a chance, and if you're have a high risk tolerance, go ahead and take Butler. But what the problem is, the Twitter's going to blow up at 7:25 if he's popped, and the people will be like, "Oh no, Jimmy Butler wasn't going to play. Come on, he's been questionable out for the last 2 games and questionable. So don't come and be surprised if he doesn't play. But again, if he does play. You look at the Golden State guys. A lot of guys are underpriced. There's some great matchups here. I love Draymond Green on the other side. He's super cheap on DraftKings at 7,500. I think he would be my first plug and play there. And then the other play, Kevin Durant is severely underpriced on DraftKings at 9,900. Curry's $500 more than Durant in this matchup. Though Curry does have a great matchup against Teague, Durant would be the guy I would focus on in the higher dollars. So for me, if I was going to play this game, I would stack it and I would go Butler on the Minnesota side. I think Wiggins is going to be too expensive at 7,000. I think he would be out of play for me. And then I would plug in Durant and Green, and then just kind of build around that and maybe throw in a little bit of Taj Gibson here at 56. I think he's too cheap for this matchup as well. But then again, if there's no Butler, if Butler's in, that's going to take Bielitsa definitely out of play at 45. I would basically wash him off the board.
Johnny, if we don't have the Butler news, right, before lock, how owned is Bielitsa?
Ooh, so if we don't get the news before lock, I think Bielitsa is going to be 35 to 45% owned because I think people are going to take it as Butler's not playing.
What's his price on DraftKings? He's 4,500.
45. Yeah.
45. Okay.
Yeah. So he's cheap. So I literally think he would be the highest owned guy on this slate because of his price. if there's no Jimmy Butler news, because a lot of people are going to think Jimmy Butler's not going to play, especially if they read the note on DraftKings about this weekend. So so that's the way you have to look at it. But again, if Butler plays, he's got to be a fade. Like, he's just too expensive.
What price is Butler?
Butler's cheap. He's 8,800.
Oh, you were talking about Bielitsa.
Yeah, Bielitsa. You got to fade Bielitsa. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I got you. That makes more sense. Paulie, break it down for us. What you got here? FanDuel. Easy.
So again, like, I'm just, going to play very small. Like Cashin says, I'm going to light the money on fire before the slate even starts. And it's only if this situation happens. Like, we had the Butler news early today, but, we didn't have the Crawford news, and that was a game-time decision. So I don't know how they're going to play it, But if we don't have the news, my gut instinct says they're going to play this game. I think Minnesota, has, this, Napoleon complex thing with the Warriors, and they want nothing more but to beat them. So I think he's going to play. And if we don't have that news, I'll gladly roster him, stack this game, and take my chance. And if I'm right, I'll be a really, really good spot. And if I'm wrong, then I lost the slate that day. But whatever. Sometimes you can approach it that way. And I would probably go with Teague, Butler, and Taj. Looking through Cat, he's never, ever done well against Golden State. Just never. Butler's there, man. He's the go-to guy. If Butler's there, then you probably shouldn't be looking at Cat anyway. Taj is underpriced. He's going to be probably getting a lot of time. He's a rebounder, scorer. At 5'6", he can get you 30, 35 in this game. And then Wiggins, he's overpriced in my opinion. With Butler back, I wouldn't go there. And Steph Curry's a bad defender, so I'd probably go to Teague. I'd probably run Teague, Butler, and Taj. And then on the Warriors side, I'd probably bring it back with Curry and Draymond. And that's probably it. I'd say Clay, I just don't have interest in. And Wiggins is a decent defender, and Durant would probably get shut down or, slowed down by Butler. But that's how I think I'd stack this game. I don't really see any value that I'd be that interested in. Maybe a gorgeous Dong play, and that's it. But it'll be interesting because I agree. I think Bielitsa will probably get much more ownership with the unknown, and it'll come down to what is trickled out. But there's going to be a player in this game that has ownership that is going to get a 0 or totally bust, which makes the slate even that much more interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's this slate is just this slate sucks, man. It's gonna take a lot of digging tomorrow to come across the plays you really want. Good day to buy day pass though. I'll tell you that $2.50 gets you in for the day. This is the same crew on the Y stream. In all seriousness, the reason I even brought that up, the little plug thing, is because I am very curious to see where we all end up on tomorrow's Y stream. I'm very curious to hear some of the more bolder calls today. If those change tomorrow, what kind of news we get, what situation we're at. Very curious to see if we have the Jimmy Butler news by that time and what your guys' opinion on that is then. We saw the other day, for instance, it was Cash and Paulie on a show, and Cash was just completely we talked about it yesterday. You guys talked about it yesterday.
Cash did it back-to-back days. Cash did it back-to-back days.
It changes, man.
LMA, and then
absolutely.
What do you call it today? Simmons. Cash hates Simmons with a passion. Yeah. But he went all in on him. I think the Heritage Nights was the final straw, and he was playing.
Yeah.
So I hate to beat this Jimmy Butler thing to death, but just one question, Paulie. One question for you. Mm-hmm. And this, because I just want the viewers to know kind of how we think or how you would think a little bit on this. But let's just say we get some Jimmy Butler news, okay? And let's say the news isn't that he is out or probable or anything like that. Let's just say that gets an upgrade, or you read something that he's game time decision now instead of questionable game time decision. Do you take the risk on him? And if you do, what do you think the ownership is going to be on him? And would that make you want to still play him or not if there is news, but it's in between news?
So it's sort of hopeful kind of news? Like it's
like hopeful news, like game time decision. He's not out, like not questionable, but he's like a game time decision. Would you still play him?
He'd probably be like 15-ish% owned because he's expensive and
on
like
a 4-game slate. That's all you think it would be in this matchup?
Maybe a little more, but questionable, and he hasn't played in a couple games. And you got like Westbrook, Durant, like Curry, a bunch of other guys you can pay up for. Like a lot of people don't want to just get a 0. It's painful. Everyone's been through it, like I don't think it'll be that high. I think Bielitsa will be higher because he's been playing and Butler hasn't. And unless we get straight confirmation that he's playing, like it's a big risk to play him. So I don't think he's going to be that high.
See, I have the opposite look at it on DraftKings. Like if I hear, like I'm more prone to play him in a donkey or like GVP plays if I don't hear anything about him. Like if I hear news about him,
the dollar value of the tournament definitely it
matters. Yeah, I'm really scared. Like I can't play him anything high, but I would definitely put him in like an $8, the $8 donkey or like the $5 donkey or something like that. But going with this, I think if I hear news on him that he's game time decision, I think that's going to draw a lot of people on him and a lot of people off Bielitsa. And so I think with this game, with this slate, I'm sure because this is going to be the highest total on the board. And everybody knows Jimmy Butler is the Minnesota guy. He's cheaper, $400 cheaper than Towns on DraftKings. I think he's going to be like 25 to 30% owned. So for me, I think he's just going to be too highly owned. So I think thinking about this slate, the only way I think I could play Butler is going to be in a donkey without knowing any news. I think
that's where I'm planning on playing him. Like
I think
nothing big, but
But I think if I hear news on him, I'm not going to play him at all.
I just feel like this game staying close would make it so far and away the best game on the slate that it's like worth taking that risk, because if you're right, then you're locking yourself into like beautiful, beautiful upside. No,
I agree with you on that. I just think that if he's that highly owned in a donkey or something like that, that's what we're going to play him in. Mm-hmm. The ownership's going to be so high, like it almost makes sense to. Because it's on 100% play. It almost makes sense to fade, and maybe play Towns or, even though I don't really like that play, but maybe go off the board a little bit.
There is a play that a guy in the chat just mentioned, and I think this is really interesting. Jamal Crawford. I think whether Butler's there or not, right? Like Jamal Crawford, pace up, running around, like that's his environment. He's actually done pretty well historically against Golden State in his last 9 games. All right, he's had 2 duds. The last game, he got 18 minutes. He went 3 of 8 shooting. He put up a 7, and then once in 2017, January in 2017, he put up 11 in 29 minutes. So he like mega busted. But every other game, he's went for 28, 27, 31, 26, and 37, and he's played some games with minutes, other games with 29s, but most of those he got into the 30s, which is interesting. They played 4 times last year, and he played 29 minutes was his low against this team. And they're pretty much the same team, right?
How many minutes he played today?
How many minutes played today? Yeah, that's the question.
Played 20.
Played 20?
Played 20 minutes. Wow. Right off an injury like that? How'd he do?
He did well. He put 20 FanDuel points, which at his price was okay. But he's like isn't he like 100 years old now?
Yeah, he is, but he's still got the same game, man. He got the same game.
No, he's got the same game, but these aren't necessarily the same circumstances. He's an old man. He already missed games. Apparently, had an injury with some kind of toe. What was his injury? I know he had an injury with something recently, right?
He was 7 of 10 shooting. He put up 19 real points today, 5 assists.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm just saying, man. He's old.
I know he's old, but
it's a back-to-back. He just came back from injury.
He's old, but he's a good player. Like the only thing with him is like, again, he was at the Clippers for so long, and I saw a lot of games with him, and he gets wild at times. You know what I mean? He does not care. He's never seen a shot he does not like. Let's just be real. He will just throw it up there.
7 in 29 minutes and 37.
He will throw up half-court shots. Like he'll get goofy.
Yeah.
So
I still think it's a good call by the guy in chat. Like worth considering at least. And
absolutely.
I like it.
Absolutely. And on these slates, like that's not a bad. I mean, necessarily a bad play. Like especially if he's going to get minutes, and especially if you get the Butler news that he's out. You know, Bielitsa's price is getting high, and I think actually today Crawford put up more points than Bielitsa then. So good call there. Good call there. Whoever did that in our chat, I like that.
Boss
there you go,
A.
Boss A. Shout out.
There we go. I'm going to take this opportunity to do another quick, cheap plug. If you haven't checked out whitestake.com, please do check it out. We got phenomenal stuff going on there. If you're into NBA, which I'm assuming you are for listening to this show, like I said, $2.50 gets you in for the day. We got the live stream tomorrow. This is the crew you're going to see, except these guys are going to be prepared. What we got today was the first look. What you get tomorrow is the real deal. Hour and a half before lock, of course. Which by the way, Nation, those of you that are subscribed, the show is gonna be half an hour later. Lock's at 7:30 on the East Coast, so that means the show is gonna be at 6 p.m. Eastern. Give you guys that update. Not screwing that up this time. But yeah, guys, go ahead. Seriously, check it out. We got articles, projections, we got tools, we got Paulie. Tomorrow's not a cheat sheet slate, but Paulie is on the Y stream, so same difference. And then of course. Yeah, I think the chat, man. Again, I can't shout out the chat enough. The Wise Take chat, man. Some of these guys, they're learning so much and they're getting so damn smart. Like I said, Paul, we was talking earlier. At this point, we go in there and we ask them, hey, well, what do we like tonight?
Yeah, what you guys see out there? What's popping? You know,
and you get some like good stuff, man. Some of these guys, they do their research and they're giving you facts, giving you knowledge, laying the knowledge on you. So definitely, guys, go check that out. This weekend, also, hopefully you guys bought the golf package because I can't wait. By the time most of you are probably listening to this, it's probably too late. The slate's probably starting, and you're going to have to wait till the Saturday to get your golf on. But for everybody else, man, the MMA package this weekend, you know, we got our boy Wig. We're doing big things with the MMA stuff. So we always got something for you. Basketball, we love basketball. And basketball is larger than life right now. But some of these other sports, man, they're picking up steam. I'm playing sports and I don't know anything about it, and I'm making money off them, man. It's coming to a point where I'm going to have to learn. I'm going to have to learn at this point. If I can make this much money just following Cash and Wiggy and all these guys and these other sports, and I don't know damn thing about the sport, I'm going to learn. Because imagine what the hell I can do if I knew what a damn bogey was. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's so weird. Like, I put in my golf lineup yesterday, and I haven't even looked at it, and it's like hasn't even gone off. It's just like,
and you just expect to win.
It's like putting money in like a savings account. It's like a 5-day, CD.
Yeah, it literally is. Real quick, guys, let's go ahead.
Hey, it's better than Bitcoin right now, right?
Yeah. Oh, don't do Bitcoin.
Yeah. Real quick, let's do a quick top three. We're not gonna go position by position because the slate is just terrible. Let's just say top threes overall. Your top three plays overall. First look, guys. Obviously, this will change, and those of you that are subscribed, we'll find out what the true answers are tomorrow. But Johnny, you want to go first?
Yeah, that's cool. I'll go first. After I do my picks, I want to throw a plug out there. So I got a little promo that I would like to do. If you guys are good with that.
No fucking way, bro. Go ahead.
Hey, it's a YouTube show.
Drop the plug, I know.
All right, so we'll do our picks and then I'll do that at the end of the show. How about that? So for me, tomorrow, point guards: John Wall number 1, Murray number 2, and Teague number 3.
Okay. Wait. Those are just point guards?
Point guards, yeah.
You just want 3 overall. Damn thing I said, did you?
Shit, I did.
You just said, no, I got the plug in my head. I'm going to ask about the plug while I was talking. You was like, F it. I'm just fucking with you, Johnny. Go ahead. What you got? Top 3.
Is it 3 overall or just point guards?
Overall. Damn, overall, you still didn't listen to me. What the
shit? Oh, sorry. All right, okay. So, yeah. So, we're going to go...
Wait, what do we do? Just the top 3, bro. I'll do it.
Top 3 plays.
All right.
Top 3 overall. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
What's the top 3?
All right.
No, go ahead.
Jimmy Butler. Give me some. Wow, this ugly slate. Give me a Will Barton, and give me. Paul George.
Okay.
Ah,
PG making the cut.
I thought you were gonna pull Carmelo Anthony. You were so high on them on the talks, you know.
I know, but Carmelo can never be a top 3.
Okay, all right.
It's like a rule.
Doesn't
like
do it often enough. Yeah, he's old, man. He's an old man too, Carmelo.
He is, man.
All right, so I gave you guys 2 bonus picks here at point guard. So my number 1, Jokic. If this is a Porzingis plays, but Jokic definitely number 1. Number 2, Draymond Green. It's too cheap. And then John Wall. Those are the 3 I like tomorrow at their price points on DraftKings first look. And, yeah, we'll go there.
All right. That's going to do it here for us at Wise Take. So, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that like button, that thumbs up. Really helps us out, means a lot. Subscribe to the channel. This way you're notified whenever these cool-ass streams come out. If you're listening on Podbean, give us a follow. If you're listening on iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Again, these things help us out. Whatever platform you're on, and whatever platform you like, let us know, because we'll hop on that too. We are invading. We're invading social media. We're invading the internet. This is not done. This has just only begun with Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, if you're watching us on Facebook, please like and share the podcast to support the Wise Take Nation. Do your part to ensure that we are able to do ours. You like that, right? How's that for some professional shit? How's that? Yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah. But half of it was written. Half of it was written down. The other half was just improv. So, pat myself on the back for that one. Anything in closing, guys? Start off with Johnny.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna throw a quick promo out there. We can talk about this, but I was kind of thinking a little bit here, but so I'm on the show tomorrow night and the Wise stream tomorrow. So I think that I definitely, want to get some more viewers coming and watching our show, the Wise stream. So I'm going to throw this promo out there. This is for people that aren't current members and have not been a member before, and they've never checked out the Wise stream. So anybody that I want to get at least for every 50 likes I get on YouTube, sorry, not YouTube, on and for every 50 likes that we get for this video that we did tonight on YouTube, and for every 50 new followers I get on Twitter, so they have to do that. You have to like us there, and then buy at least a day pass to check us out on the Wise stream for tomorrow's show. I will give a free 30-minute coaching session too. And the guys that I've given these coach sessions to have had really big success. I've won some big money here. So it's some free stuff for you guys out there. So we got to get at least 50 likes on YouTube for the show tonight, 50 followers tomorrow, and you got to buy a day pass at least if you don't buy a full membership, just to check out the Wise stream tomorrow.
I need to clarify the rules, because I think I'm lost here.
Yes,
so they gotta like us. They gotta like us on something. I know that.
They gotta like. You gotta definitely like the YouTube show tonight. This show right now. Okay, you gotta like us that. We gotta get at least 50 likes on that. Okay, and you have to follow me on Twitter, and I have to get 50 followers on Twitter before tomorrow's show, and you gotta buy at least a day pass. Okay, for tomorrow's show, the Wire stream, if not a full month membership, to qualify. And if we get all those stipulations, I know it sounds like a lot, I'll go ahead and do a 30-minute coaching session, and we'll do that on the YouTube show tomorrow night. We'll do a drawing.
All right, man. I'd hate to get a shopping list from you. It would be terrible. The contest sounds great, but I'd hate to get a shopping list.
Set of rules. Wow. All right.
Paulie D, anything in closing from you? Anything you want to plug?
You know I'm going to get 7,000 Twitter messages.
I got a long one. No, man. I don't even know what to say. It was a good night. We'll catch you tomorrow. I love the nation.
Let's do it. For Johnny the Greek, for Paulie D, myself, the entire Wise Take Nation. As always, guys, good luck.